Hi, and welcome to Finding Your Way Through Therapy. I'm your host, Steve Beeson. No intro again, just me talking. And this is the sixth day of Christmas. We're halfway there. And I chose someone who I really liked her interview. I just like her as a human being. I met her in San Diego at a podcast meeting, for lack of a better word. And Crystal Partney is someone who is very authentic and really talked about the loss of her sister, what loss means. I've had a lot of loss in my personal life, and obviously with my professional life too. So hearing Crystal talk about her sister, she has her own podcast. Please go listen to it. I'll link it in the show notes. But Crystal Partney is such a wonderful human being. I really enjoyed her. And here's Crystal.
A guest on Steve's podcast was absolutely incredible. I loved the idea that you are literally sitting down and you're talking to someone that it feels like you've known your whole life, but oh, by the way, who happens to also be a therapist. And he completely removes any of the stigma that you might feel or that you might have experienced in the past when you are talking to a therapist. He makes the conversation so enjoyable, so light, and quite frankly, just fun to be able to sit and have that conversation and be able to feel like you're not alone in any of your struggles that you might be going through. And he humanizes the process and really makes the conversation and the episode so delightful. And I really appreciate Steve and all that he does. He is such a bright light. And I really enjoyed connecting with Steve, connecting to the listeners, and being able to share my story and to share my experience. And I hope that whoever listened to my episode felt my heart and was able to feel and have that same experience of, hey, she's going through that, and I can see myself in her story and find so much relatability to it, and be able to connect with my story and be able to hear themselves in it is what I hope when somebody listens to my episode. I just would highly encourage you to be a guest and to share your story, to be bold enough and be brave enough to share your story, because I promise and I guarantee that when you do share your story, other people will listen in and they will be inspired by your story. They will hear it and they will say, hey, me too. I no longer feel this way. And being able to talk with someone like Steve, who is absolutely brilliant about therapy and removing that stigma that has been surrounded by mental health in general, and being able to talk openly and lovingly about our own struggles, about how we can seek support and seek help and guidance. And there doesn't have to be this shame or guilt or any sort of negative feelings that we can sometimes experience or maybe we've experienced in the past. He really does make that process so much more enjoyable and just a joy to be around and to talk with. So I highly encourage you to be a guest and be able to share your story.